In this video, I explain how to organize and outline your final proposal. Most of the proposals will have the three parts to them, the three critical parts. The first part is the problem or area of concern. Those are tied together by the criteria, and the criteria seem like a very insignificant thing to the proposal because they're so small, but they are the logical tie between the first part, which is the area of concern or problem, and then the solution section. So almost all of your proposals will follow the problem, criteria, and solutions. What I want to challenge you all to do is to not follow or not use the same headings that I provide, especially in the problem section. Because many times if you use a heading called problem, that's not going to be the appropriate heading. Anyway, I'm going to take you through some sample proposals, and we're just going to look at how they're organized, and we're going to look at it just through the headings to see what we think or how we think these proposals are organized and what you think is a good organization and not. Here's a proposal on improving the quality of the chemistry lab courses. We have an introduction, and then we have a problem, and as I mentioned, you don't need the colons after these headings. So this student chooses to organize it using the problem. So she starts off with a problem. I think she could have used a more descriptive heading instead of just simple problem. Here, instead of saying problem, she could have said concerns for lab quality or issues of organization and planning or something like that. Still pretty good. Then she uses, the next section she has is causes. Now you'll notice that she has really good headings here of causes. She has insufficient or broken equipment, poorly planned meeting times, lack of communication. Now I want you to take your resume scanning abilities, those concepts you learned about scanning, and take them to your proposal. You can see here that you can scan this. And you can read it various ways. You could read just the headings, or you can read the headings and the text. Now if you compare this section right here, the causes section, to the problem section, now if you look at these things, does this look easier to read or harder to read? It does not look as easy to read because it's longer and the headings are not nearly as descriptive. And so she needs to have a little more detail in the headings, even though this is the A-B problem statement, A part here and B part here. Causes is probably the appropriate primary heading here. These are really good second level headings here. They clearly tell you what's going on. Effects of this on students, I think that's a pretty good first level heading. Incomplete learning and confusion, stressful lab conditions, conflicting focus. Now she has students' input, and here she actually put the research into its own category, and we're going to learn next week that that's not the best place to put the research. You should integrate the research into the previous problem sections and then in the solution section. History of the department, that's not a very good heading. It should be history of the Chemistry 111 lab in the department. Future lab criteria, that's not quite good enough. It probably should be criteria for an effective lab. And then she has proposed solutions, and that's probably a good first level heading with an introduction. But you'll see there's no headings here, and the second level heading would be second level of headings would be very good, as she's done in her causes and effects. Implementation, she's following my assignment sheet very closely, but I think implementation works. It should be a little more concrete. Necessary resources, that's fine. Management, she's taking this exactly from my assignment sheet. I don't think management is the right word here. She might say managing the lab or continuously improving the lab or something like that. And then project assessment, I'm not sure what that is. So you'll see here that this is a really good proposal, but it suffers from a couple of things. One is it has inconsistent headings. Some sections have really good second level headings, some sections don't. The sections that do are easy to read. Also, the headings themselves aren't necessarily detailed enough. They follow too closely my assignment sheet. More descriptive or accurate headings would have helped here. Let's go to the study abroad proposal. And this is a proposal to create a pre-departure orientation for NMSU students. She has an introduction, and she decides to use present situation for her heading. But you'll notice that these are really long paragraphs. Once it gets to about right here or here, you want to break it up and try to present a second level heading. Even though this is a really good problem section, but it's very long paragraphs. And then she has problems with present system. That's better than just simply problems. And effects in response to the present system. Although I bet she could have come up with something different than problems. She probably could have put the present system is not preparing well students. And effects of students not well prepared, that probably could have gone here. So her headings could have been better, but the content is good. History and future is fine. Criteria, she's written this for me, not for the audience. You can see it should be criteria for solving the issues of study abroad. Solutions and solution overview. Here, this needs to be heading level 1, and this needs to be heading level 2. They're actually the same levels as you see, so she needs some work on her headings. Schedule, but here's a good heading. Schedule pre-departure orientations. Now she's exploring how to schedule the orientations of study abroad students. Inclusion of outside programs, staffing. She actually gives us a sample of an agenda of what will happen. It's an excellent work here. What she proposes to have in the information packet. Now some of this she could have put in an appendix and then referenced it. When the details get a little too much for the body, you put them in the appendix. And here she has 5 research universities that include. She did not develop well this information in the other sections. This information should have been a part of the problem as well as the solution section. So you see, this is organized in some sections fairly well and other sections not very well. One of the things I want to show you, I might as well show you right now, is how to use Word's heading function. We go back to the solution sections. Remember I talked about this is a heading level 1. This should have been a heading level 2, which means it's part of the solution. What you can do, go here, and you see up there that's heading level 1. So any heading level 1, you change to that, and that will make them absolutely consistent across. And then heading level 2 is a little bit different. So use Word's heading levels to make your headings consistent. And you can actually modify these. You right click and do modify, and then you can change them any way you want. But following the concepts of the resume design, heading level 1 are the major headings, the problem, the criteria, the solutions. Heading level 2 is the next level, solution overview. And heading level 3, this might be a heading level 3. I have 5 here. I'll have to go. You have to pull down and find the 3. Then you have 3, 4, and 5. So you organize your heading levels using Word's heading function, and that keeps them consistent and allows the reader to understand the organization of the document. I'm going to take you through one more organization, and this is on one of the samples you have. Here we have the introduction, and then he has a problem. That's not the best heading to call it a problem. He should have said lack of involvement at the NMSU Corbett Center, or decreased attendance. What you try to do is use the same terms. Here he has decreased attendance at NMSU Corbett Center. Could have copied that and made that part of the heading. But here he has his AB. And this is, I like this a little bit better. Contributing factors, this is heading level 2. And then heading level 3, policy changes. Heading level 3, food vendor operations. These are a little better headings, you see, and this is organized better. Event inconsistency, poor promotion. So he uses more descriptive or more communicative headings than some of the previous two proposals. Current challenges, heading level 2, and then heading level 3 here. History, heading level 2 under the problem section, and future. Criteria, all the big red are heading level 1. Competition, it's interesting. He gets at the audience because he realizes the audience is worried about the competition from UNN and UTEP. Then he has a solution. And it would have been better to say the solution, use a short phrase, solution colon, and then a short 3 or 4 or 5 words explaining what the solution is. Then he has a premise which is really interesting. It says argument for the solution. And that doesn't make sense until you read it, but it's actually quite a good heading. Resources needed, costs, staffing, return on investment. It's his own heading. It's a great heading for what he's doing. Rejected alternative, he shows what he thought of but wouldn't work, and then a conclusion. And at the end, he has his appendices, some of the data that he brought in, and then some of his research. Okay. So you'll see this one actually is organized. It's easier to process this. It's easier to scan. The headings organization make it better for the reader using the concept of the resume. Anyway, I'm going to challenge you not to use the same terms that we've been using on both the problem and the solution section. Use more descriptive headings, headings that are short phrases, maybe half sentences or sentence fragments. Use various levels of headings, 3 or 4, and this gives the readers the ability to scan, to process, to work through your proposals, and it makes it very readable and user-friendly. I hope this video has helped. Please let me know if you have any questions.